still rings still to come for the men. So here's a look at the lineup, the 8 men who've made it to the final, including John Roethlisberger, Donnell Wittenberg. Your thoughts on this lineup as we get set for the last one of the day?
Well, Donnell is going to have the anchor spot. He goes last, so he'll know exactly what he needs to do to get a medal. But he's going to have his work cut out for him. Let's start with the Chinese gymnast. To me, even though that he's not the top qualifier, Zhou and Yu, they are going to be 2 of the men to beat. Certainly Courtney Tulloch did outstanding in the qualifications. But I'll tell you what, those 2 Chinese gymnasts, again, they set the bar, I think, on this event. And, of course, Adam Azil is going to be right in there as well. The top 3 gymnasts all tied. Their score actually tied. You had to go to a tiebreaker to seed them. So this one's going to be close.
Yo Hao from China, 2-time world medalist, and Azil and Tulloch, stars of the European Championships recently in 2022, but it will be Donnell Wittenberg, the 28-year-old from Baltimore, will be the last man up on rings here in the final, straight ahead from Liverpool. 6 championships. One more to go here. Still rings. And the men, the 8 names who will compete for the gold medal. Donnell Wittenberg here, a chance in his 5th trip to the World Championships. By the way, you enjoying yourself?
I am. This is fantastic. And by the way, I love doing this with both of you. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for saying that. Great having you along. And you, John, of course, too.
Oh, yeah, Terry. It's just, that's a courtesy. Yeah, okay. I appreciate it.
And you too, John. No, it's been a thrill all week. We've been working together every day, though. So, thoughts on this lineup, John, and Donnell Wittenberg here, last one to go.
Yeah, you know, I talked with USA Gymnastics earlier today, and they did say Donnell hasn't been feeling that well. He's been a bit under the weather, really going back to before the team qualification. But they did say when it comes time to do it, he will step up and do it. They may actually, going back to what we saw on bars with Shilese and some of the other athletes, they might adjust his start value. It'll come at the very beginning of his routine. I'll point it out. But he might change the start value, just try to get an extra 10th. It just depends on what the athletes have done before him. But here's the thing about a ring final. Unlike the other events, we've seen falls on every event final so far, right? Rings is not an event that athletes fall on. It's about how clean they can do it. Really, it's about who holds the best strength positions and who sticks the landing. I know that's simplifying it, but it could easily come down to a stick contest to see who gets gold here.
Got a couple of athletes from Armenia in this group, too, and no gymnast from Armenia has won a medal in still rings. Yukimoto, we've seen earlier throughout the championships, Japan won silver in the team event earlier this week. Your thoughts on, oh, listen, Donnell Wittenberg here being introduced. For example, in the men's team event, China was just awful in qualifying. And then they won, not easily, but they were clearly the best. The difference between qualifying and the number you put up, where you place in qualifying, and then the real event.
Yeah, qualifying, a lot of times, especially like in prelims and things like that, little mistakes are almost bound to happen. It comes at the beginning of the competition, the beginning of Worlds. Before finals starts, this meet happens. And so you're kind of getting those kinks out. We'll see a little bit lower scores. But now they've had time to warm up. They've had time to get used to the equipment. They are ready to go. And that's why we see lots of higher scores during finals.
Davtyan, the first 2 from Armenia. And then Yo Hao from China on down the list. Courtney Tulloch, who had a great moment with the team. Great Britain making the podium early in the week, is certainly taking in all the cheers in the crowd in Liverpool. And then Donnell Wittenberg, who will be the last one to go. This event, as much as anything for me, just as a fan, I just watch the entire, and I can't believe that it's possible to do what they do.
Oh, my arms would fall off. Easy.
Right.
There's no, as someone who's tried rings before, I simply cannot.
Well, like at the park I have, when I mean, it's amazing what these men are able to do.
We were talking about, like off camera, shoulders earlier.
Right.
like all the shoulder injuries that we've sustained, you from basketball, me from gymnastics, I cannot imagine the amount of shoulder strength you have to do iron crosses on ring, anything on rings, just anything. I have a massive appreciation for everyone here.
Well, and then the training that's involved to do it over and over and over again to get to this point, and the wear and tear that puts on your body.
Joke's on my muscles. I don't think my bones are strong enough for rings like that. This is going to be an interesting one to watch. And like John mentioned earlier, you know, we don't really see athletes fall on rings. That's not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is the little details. And at the end of the day, it may come down to a stick contest. Who can have the cleanest routine? Who can stick?
Hey, John, just the thought, because you've been there all week through the training and qualifying, individual all around, now team events as well. The crowd there has been sensational. I mean, not only have they shown up, but they have been on every second of every routine.
They really have, and I actually just talked to my colleagues here that are helping me with the broadcast. They're from Great Britain, and they said just that. They said the British crowds really appreciate greatness, no matter where it comes from and what part of the world. I'll tell you what, you mentioned the long trip here, and Chelsea Memel mentioned that to me earlier today from USA Gymnastics about how this is really a lot of work, and it's a marathon. You know, they have a lot of energy they expend through the team competition, and so this crowd absolutely makes a huge difference, not just to the hometown team, but to everybody competing.
Makes a difference as an athlete, right? I mean, again, not just to the athletes from Great Britain, which obviously they're the loudest when they're out there competing, but they've been in it every step of the way for every athlete. And as an athlete competing, it makes a difference whether it's quiet or whether they're going crazy.
Oh, it absolutely makes a difference. Well, that's what was interesting about Tokyo in 2021. We saw an entire competition with no crowd, no energy, no outside energy. It makes doing gymnastics really difficult when you don't have people out there watching you. Like, I remember, even if I were to go to practice and I start training, there's something about watching either little girls or some people around gym watching you do your routines, and you get this energy, this feeling of, oh, I'm being watched, I'm being perceived, I want them to watch, look how good I am, you know? So to go to Tokyo and to not have anyone watch in person how hard you worked, it's
even knowing that there are millions and millions of people watching on TV, but they're not there.
They're not there. You can't hear them. You can't feel their present energy. That's why this competition is so exciting to watch for me, because you're seeing all these people in the crowd who are excited for every single athlete, especially for Great Britain, naturally, but for all athletes. They're applauding, they're invested, and that's what we want to see. We want to support these athletes. They're working so hard.
Let's get this ring sign underway. Little make signs for our first gymnast. Green light is on. So first on the rings, representing Armenia, Artur Avatisian.
So Artur Avatisian, the 24-year-old from Armenia who qualified in 7th, his first appearance at the World Championships, first to go.
I'm noticing right at the get all this tape on his shoulders, signifying either injury, ache.
Stick on the landing. How about the routine overall, John?
Very good. Great start. You know, he's got one of the lower start values here in the finals. You're going up first. That's that's a disadvantage for sure. But his positions were great. You know, you're going to see a lot of the Maltese position. Everybody knows that rings finals especially is all about strength. The Maltese position is the one where if you lay flat on the floor and put your arms out to the side, that's the Maltese. The one where it looks like you could iron your shirt on the guy's back, that is a very important skill on the rings. You'll see a lot of the athletes do 2 of those positions. Whoever does that the best certainly has an advantage on this event. This was a great routine, though. Really didn't leave a lot of room for the judges to take points off.
See, that should not be humanly possible.
Yeah, I'm speechless. I don't. I simply could never.
So 2 athletes from Armenia start things off here in the Still Rings final. One who's 24 years of age, Artur, just getting things going, first world championship. And Magan Davtyan, who is 34 years of age next, and has last been at the World Championships in 2018. But a chance for an athlete from Armenia perhaps to be on the medal stand for the first time. It still rings. Okay, 14.6 with the execution being 8.6. That's the standard that's been set now.
8.6. That's a pretty good execution. Out of 10.
Magan Davtyan from Armenia as well. 5th in qualifying on rings. We watched his brother Artur win a bronze medal in Tokyo on vault. 6th the last time he was at the World Championships in this event.
Magan does have a skill on rings named after him, the Davtyan Cross. He performed this at the 2014 World Cup in Doha. Wobbly there.
What do you think, John?
It was great. It was great. The irony of this routine is he held his strength parts extremely well. The worst hold position that he had in the entire routine was his handstand position. And he did multiple handstands, and it's almost like, man, just do one of those handstands, because that is where the judges are going to hit him the most. Even stuck his landing like his teammate did moments ago. That routine will not move ahead of his teammate Artur. I'll tell you what, Artur got a 14.6. That would be the 2nd highest ring score in qualification. For the first guy up to get that number, that is a big hurdle for the rest of the field to overcome.
Yeah, Artur in qualifying 14.466. So much better here in the actual final. As a gymnast, to have a skill named after you is pretty special too, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've taken a sport that already feels like it's done everything under the sun, and now you've created something new and you've done it on a world stage. That is definitely something to be proud of.
I have a skill named after me if you want me to comment on it.
I do, actually, and I would love to hear all about it, and that is not sarcasm. Please tell me about it.
I have a really ugly skill on parallel bars that no one in the world actually does because it's so ugly.
Be
They just don't do it. So, but it is in the code of points. So I'm very proud of that, actually.
Nobody else calls it ugly. Just you, self-effacing.
Only you call it ugly.
Exactly.
Be nice to my friend, John Roethlisberger.
They tell me right to my face, actually.
Okay, so 14.533, and John, you're absolutely right. It's good. It's solid. Really good, but not good enough to overtake Artur. Tission, the leader.
The People's Republic of China.
So Yo-Ha will be next, and he's 30 years of age, the Olympic silver medalist from Tokyo, and a two-time world medalist as well.
So an exciting thing about Yo-Ha is we've got an incredible sequence to start. He pulls up from hang through inverted cross, then lowers back down, and pulls from hang to legs together planche. Unbelievable. Also, notice his hold positions. He's not moving. Twisting double A dismount. That's quite a big step on the landing. John?
Yeah, that's going to kill him. That huge step is a major deduction for him, and as close as I expect this ring final to be. I told you, a stick contest, right? He did not stick, and he's opening the door, but you mentioned the strength moves. You know, these strength moves, the whole positions that he has, as good as you possibly can do it. I mean, brace yourself for another one of my analogies. It's like my kid sitting at the dinner table with his green beans on the plate that he doesn't want to eat, and he just flicks a few off to the dogs on the floor. That's how I feel like he treats these strength moves. Like, they're so easy for him. It's a level that you don't see really in the world, in my opinion.
And you allow that at the dinner table? Huh.
As long as he can do a good Maltese, he can do that.
Okay. During this routine, Lori, it not only drew applause, but there were some oohs and ahs in the crowd. You know, the different positions, the different hold. Well, there's the step. Not on the step at the end, obviously. That'll be a big mistake. But
on his holds.
Yeah.
The way that he held everything. I mean, that's not to be that person, but that's what still rings is all about, you know?
Still.
Being still, truly not moving, holding as if it was just a photo. That's, in my opinion, that's as close as you can get.
It's won a silver and a bronze at the World Championships, but not a gold. Won a gold on parallel bars back in 2015, and then that's silver at the Olympics on rings in Tokyo. No expression. I mean, that's the other thing. Gymnasts try to play it off. No expression. This isn't tough.
Oh, yeah, no.
This isn't hurting.
Difficult?
Yeah.
I actually have never learned that word before. I don't know what that is.
There's the ooh. 14-6, so it's right in between. It's the same as the top number, tie break in second. So it's Avatesian in first with the same number, though.
I love the oohs and ahs of the crowd.
So the execution score breaks that tie. Demasio from Turkey made his Olympic debut in Tokyo, was 7th there. The European silver medalist 2022, now up on rings.
He qualified for all-around final, but actually withdrew the day before.
was pleased.
I think he was pleased. Oh, look at that crowd.
I think they're pleased. John, you pleased?
That was a great performance. Adam Azil, he's an interesting guy. You know, he started his career in Egypt. Didn't feel like the Egyptian Federation was supporting his dream of being an Olympic champion. So he moved to Turkey, where he has turned around his gymnastic career. Talked with him earlier this week, and he is a passionate man. He said he is going to go and compete in gymnastics until he is an Olympic champion. And I tell you what, that routine he just did right now, it might just be good enough for world champion. It was an outstanding performance.
Step by step in that road to an Olympic gold and the world championship here, part of the journey.
I get a little choked up every time I watch an athlete recognize that they hit a fantastic routine. And then the camera turns to their family and their support system and their teammates, and they're cheering them on as well. Oh.
Youngest man in the final at the age of 23. John, that was terrific.
Yeah, one thing I think is going to be interesting, he does an inverted cross that's clearly not as good as Yo did in the routine just before him. And so I think it could be a 3/10 deduction, but Yo had the big deduction on his landing, so it's a little bit of a give and take. I think this will be good enough to get into the top spot for now.
So that moment where we are about to find out, and then there'll be 4 more left. It is good enough. Almost 15, 14, 9, 3, 3.
Wow.
Adam Azil from Turkey. Crunching the numbers, John?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to beat that number. Obviously, the biggest number we've had so far in rings here at these World Championships. But I feel like the judges are also being a little bit more lenient on their score. So you got Zhou and you got Tulloch from Great Britain, Zhou from China, Tulloch from Great Britain. Those two guys in particular, they can push it, but they've got to be perfect. Perfection is the only thing that you can do from here on out if you want gold.
Zhou Jingyuan, part of that last group of gymnasts. He'll be first to go, and it'll end up with the American Donnell Wittenberg. So they know what they have to do. And that, as a gymnast, I mean, not that you're going to change a whole lot. There's Donnell right there in his 5th World Championships, but you know the benchmark, the number that's out there that you have to top.
Yeah, I'm really curious to know how much Wittenberg is perceiving and absorbing the competition around him. Same with all the other athletes, but I do wonder.
Are you in your own zone? Are you?
Me personally, yes.
Yeah.
I genuinely never have any idea of what's happening around me. And it's done on purpose. I don't want to know. I don't even want to know my own scores. I just want to keep moving with the competition. And I can recognize if I've done the best routine that I can do.
Sure.
But we'll see. For some people, that gives them the fuel to keep doing a better routine.
Yeah, the athletes are different. And some are motivated by a number up there, a great routine that they've seen. There is Donnell, 28-year-old from Baltimore. With more on him, here's John again.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his work cut out for him. We talked earlier about how he might change his routine to add some difficulty. Absolutely going to have to do that. If he does change his routine, it's right at the beginning. He does a back roll up to a legs together planche, the planche position being what looks like a high Maltese position. It'll only add 1/10. And talking about start values, really that is an interesting saga here on rings. Adam Azil was 4/10 lower than Yu Hao from China on start value at a 6'7" versus a 6'3". But the execution side, Adam Azil beat him by almost 1 point in execution. So that strategy for Adam paid off. The risk reward, not so much for Yo.
It is a man representing Turkey who has the lead right now. First gold medal at the World Championships was a teammate of his, Ibrahim Cholak, who is coming back from injury. But Adam Azil has dedicated a lot of his success lately. European silver medal on rings to his teammate. Right now, could be on the verge of winning the gold medal at the World Championships, already celebrating. Because, I mean, he can't do anything right now but wait and watch. Zoe Tulloch, Yuya Komoto from Japan, and then Donnell Whitberg, the final 4 to go on still rings in the last individual event of the day.
For Zoe, who's coming up next, he does an iron cross in a V position. The only gymnast to do that, and should get it named after him. That is going to be an exciting watch, and it's something that I'm looking out for.
Been watching him throughout the week. Part of that team from China that won the gold medal again. 12 of the last spring, 15 gold medals have been won by China. Trying to win gold here on still rings. Zoe Qingyuan, the 24-year-old.
In a V position, look at that. The only guy to do that in this competition. That's an incredible show of strength.
With the song, touchdown, but with a step. What do you got, John?
Yeah, the reason the Chinese aren't going to win gold on this event is the stick contest we talked about. Again, a step forward on the landing, shoulders were low, and it's as close as it is on the rings between these athletes, meaning the strength positions and the swing moves as well. It comes down to the landing, and they clearly got beat by as much as 6/10 per athlete from China compared to the rest of the field just on the landings. That is just too much to overcome.
Love those moments when he was looking right into the camera and basically saying, don't try this at home.
Hey, John, I'm noticing a lot of these male athletes have a lot of taped shoulders going on. And I know that there's so many events for y'all that are strenuous on your arms, but how much of a toll on your shoulders does rings take on you?
Oh, hey, whenever I go play baseball with my kid in the street in front of our house, I remember rings. Let's put it that way. But I also wonder, I see that tape too, Lori, and I go, there's no way that tape is helping you out when you're doing a ring routine. It seems absurd to me.
I'm going to watch you throughout the first pitch at a baseball game just to see the toll it's taken on.
Going to put us side by side?
Yeah. All right, so 14.866, though, into second place. Even with the step at the end. Atemazil, though, the top spot as it gets loud for the next athlete up. Listen to this place. Courtney Tulloch, who qualified first for this rings final.
These holds are fantastic.
They agree. from Great Britain in the crowd. How about that feeling when you've got the entire house right in the palm of your hand, John?
Wow, it is electric in here, no doubt. And I have got to say, of all the finals, we've seen 5 so far, this has been by far the best as far as how these athletes has performed. And once I saw those big scores, those 14-9s and 14-8s go up, I thought to myself, no one's going to pass that up. And then Courtney Tulloch goes up and does this. As good as he can absolutely perform it, and really, honestly, it's hard for me to find deductions. The one area, his dismount, it wasn't quite laid out. And I know I'm being nitpicky, but if you got to find a separator from the top guys and Courtney, that could be as much as a 3/10 deduction. But again, just swinging for the fences, and he nailed it.
Well, less than 1/10 of a point right now separates the top 2. How about your thoughts on Zoe and what we saw, at least what the judges thought of that last routine before Tulloch?
I was a little surprised to see that high of a score of over a 14-8. That landing could have been a 6/10 landing. The judges clearly didn't take that much.
Exactly.
But again, great routine. But it's, you know, my wife would like to hear this. Every once in a while, I am right. And I told you it was going to be a stick contest for gold, and so far it has been.
Jury's still out on that. 14.933 is the top number right now. Adem Seal from Turkey. Courtney Tulloch. Here we go. Oh, no, it's not close to that. 14.733, John.
Well, again, if you're separating Adem Seal in that routine, again, I said he was piked in the air on his dismount. That's a 3 up to a 3/10, probably a 3/10 deduction. Add that 3, and where does he end up? Just ahead of it. So again, that's how fine and how precise these guys have to be.
2 more left. Yuya Komoto from Japan, the 28-year-old who qualified 6th, part of that Japan silver medal in the team event. And then it's Donnell Whitberg.
Difficult. To be moving so fast and then to have to stop and be still. Can't imagine how much strength that takes.
And a step.
Isn't the chest down on that landing? Step back.
So, John, if it does come down to that, there's that extra step at the end.
Yeah, not going to happen, unfortunately, for Komoto. He had some execution errors on the rings as well, but I love the double layout holding onto the rings. That's called an O'Neill, named after Paul O'Neill, an American gymnast. He goes right from that to the Maltese. I love to see gymnasts break it up a little bit, do something new, do something different. You know, stuff like that probably got him into the finals. He's going to have to be a little better in the future if he wants to medal, but a fun routine to watch.
So Adem Seal, Zoe of China, and Tulloch of Great Britain, the top 3 with 1 athlete still left, Donnell Whitberg.
Go Donnell!
So we wait for the numbers now for Yuya Komoto of Japan. 14.466 into 7th place. With one man left, Donnell Wittenberg, John.
Yeah, Donnell's going to have to be perfect. And just to put it in perspective, Courtney Tulloch from Great Britain had a 6-1 start value. If Donnell Wittenberg changes his routine and adds the back roll to the plunge at the beginning like we talked about, he will also start from a 16.1. So if you can rewind that routine from Courtney Tulloch and compare it to Donnell Wittenberg's right here, you guys can decide who's better. It's going to come down to execution.
Here is the 2-time U.S. Still Rings champ.
Opens his hands on this iron cross, increasing the difficulty. Oof. Finish with a double twisting, double layout. Can he stick? Almost!
And now we wait, John.
Second Maltese, just a little bit.
Yeah, it's not going to happen for Donnell today as far as the podium is concerned. But I'll tell you what, hats off to this young man. He has had a resurgence of sorts this year, made this World Championship team, came in, performed well, did 3 outstanding ring routines, got in what was the toughest final of these Worlds so far, performed well. Something to build on. I think he'll be back here and he'll have another chance.
Won a bronze medal on vault back in 2015 and was actually a part of the last U.S. men's team to make it to the podium. That was in 2014. So he's now 28 years old. And you're right about a resurgence. I mean, this year at the U.S. Championships, 2nd in the all-around, 2nd in the vault, won the rings championship again. Kind of knew it? You think the look on that face at the end?
I think so. He mentioned something about his second Maltese when he came off.
14.433, so that'll do it. Donnell Wittenberg ends up in 8th place. It is Adem Asil from Turkey. He can't believe it. Who wins the gold medal. That's pretty cool.
This is such a special moment.
Zhou Jingyuan, the silver, and the first medal for Great Britain in this event. Courtney Tulloch, the bronze.
Between Gianni and Courtney, I think Great Britain has some medals from today.
And from the week, too.
And from the week,
Some first evers, you know. I mean, making some history at home in Liverpool. But that man right there, this is the moment for him. And how many times growing up do you imagine this moment and then actually realize it?
Honestly, each athlete has a very specific moment of being proud of themselves. And it's so fantastic when you're able to watch. We just watched Adem Asil do that. To put the flag around himself and to truly be proud of what he did.
Absolutely. So, the action complete for the day. 5 different event finals. You got 5 more tomorrow, but final standings here. That's how close it was. Less than, what, a tenth of a point. Demasio, Zhou Jingyuan, the silver. Courtney Tulloch, what a performance with the bronze. And Donnell Wittenberg ends up in 8th here in the final in his 5th trip to the World Gymnastics Championships. So the action done for the day. We are now. We'll come back and wrap things up in a moment here as we continue with Worlds. The action from Liverpool.
FIG Vice President. Presenting the silver medal, Julio Marcos Felipe, Men's Artistic Gymnastics Technical Committee member. Presenting the bronze medal, Claire McColgan, MBE, Director of Culture, Liverpool. In 3rd place and winner of the bronze medal, representing Great Britain, Courtney Tulloch. In 2nd place and winner of the silver medal, representing the People's Republic of China, Zhou Jingyuan. And in 1st place, winner of the gold medal and world champion, representing Turkey, Adem Asil. For those who can, please now stand for the national anthem of Turkey.